Madeleine Dean, who sits on the House Judiciary Committee, will try to get back Congressman Wenstrup, as live TV goes sometimes. And I'll ask you the question. Good evening, Congresswoman. What happens next steps now that the public hearings have concluded, or at least for now, in the House Intelligence Committee? What happens when that report is completed and then goes on to the Judiciary Committee? What happens next?
Well, Sandra, first, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
I appreciate the chance to talk to you about this. And the way you began this was what the president said today. He looks forward to a trial. He wants to bring forward witnesses, which is absolutely puzzling to me. I sit on Judiciary. I'm a member of the House. He had the opportunity to bring forward witnesses. He had the opportunity to bring forward any kind of exculpatory information and witnesses. And in fact, he blocked subpoenas, lawful subpoenas. He's obstructed Congress from doing such oversight. So that actually
So perhaps you're giving us an idea of what the articles of impeachment that would be drawn up might look like. Give us an idea.
I don't want to preview that for you for a simple reason. I am a member of this Judiciary Committee. I take my role incredibly seriously. Certainly, we have just heard 2 weeks' worth of damning testimony from career-long Democrats who don't have a political dog in this fight. They have only our national security and peace and diplomacy around the world at stake. So what I will say is the judiciary is awaiting the report, as you know, from the resolution, House Resolution 660. We will receive a report from the Intelligence Committee as well as any other committee of oversight. And from that, we will draft articles of impeachment.
All right. So where do you stand, Congressman, on what you heard over the past couple of weeks? I believe it was over 31 hours of public impeachment hearings. Do you believe what you heard were impeachable offenses by the president?
I thank you for that question. I actually had the opportunity yesterday to sit in the hearing room when Mr. Holmes and Dr. Hill testified, how grave and serious the moment was. And that's true when we heard, I was in also when Ambassador Bill Taylor spoke, Marie Yovanovitch, the ambassador, spoke. These are people of extraordinary credibility. I also sat in briefly on Ambassador Sondland. So we heard from most of those folks incredibly convincing, credible testimony of bribery by a president, of a president who had a shadow foreign policy. But it was pointed out many times in that hearing room that none of those witnesses used the word bribery, Congresswoman. And as far as the convincing is concerned of even a moderate Republican like Congressman Hurd, who was looking to take sides on this and has hinted that he would be a no on impeachment. He is not up for re-election. He has nothing to prove to the president here. And this is an incredibly important moment in our country's history. So put it to the American people. What exactly was it that you heard? And Republicans make the case that on many occasions this is what someone heard someone say in the case of that phone call. What is it that you heard specifically that you're impeaching the president? Let's dismiss the hearsay argument because hearsay evidence is credible, but we don't need just hearsay. We had firsthand folks who were in on the phone call, and you had the testimony. Dr. Hill's testimony was without any kind of scrutiny. The credibility and the precision of it, she spoke so concretely without any kind of inflammatory language. Mr. Holmes, he was a first-hand witness at that restaurant in Kiev where Ambassador Sondland, holding the phone away from his head, showing off the noise of a president barking about, are they going to do the investigations? We have first-hand witnesses of what the president admitted to.
Well, to be clear, he was not on that phone call. He overheard the phone call. But I want to be clear on what happens then, because we get where you stand on this, and we've lost Congressman Wenstrup, by the way.
Well, I don't know that you do.
So
I hope you get where I stand is for our Constitution and for our democracy.
I heard you say that you believe the president committed an impeachable offense. Is that correct?
I believe the evidence thus far shows impeachable offenses. The president has every opportunity and has had every opportunity to bring forward exculpatory information and witnesses. And what did he choose to do?
If there was a vote taken up today, would you vote yes to impeach the president?
I don't answer questions like that because we don't have a vote today. We don't have articles of impeachment.
But it seems odd that if you had heard something that was very evident of an impeachable offense that you wouldn't answer. It's a yes or no question. But I think that we hear you're not.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't, because this is an extraordinary remedy. Our Constitution provides for an impeachment only as a last resort. And so why would anybody prejudge a vote when you don't even have the articles in front of you? So
Okay.
I would never do that.
So let's dial down what exactly would happen once this gets into the Judiciary Committee. Would you hold hearings? Would they be depositions behind closed doors? Would they be public hearings? Will that even happen?
I believe we will have some public hearings. I know at this point we are awaiting. You know, we're on Thanksgiving break. I just came home by train to Philadelphia today. We are awaiting the report of the Judiciary Committee and as well as the other oversight committees. Once we have their full report, our staff, our attorneys are fully ready, and my own staff is fully ready to review that information and begin to craft articles of impeachment.
Who would you call forward as a witness?
I will not be in charge of calling forward. I will be able to ask and suggest who we will call forward. I would assume.
Fair enough. Who would you suggest?
One of the panels will certainly be Mr. Schiff and those who would make the case to us for what it is they learned as a result of their thoughtful inquiry. I would like to speak to John Bolton. Absolutely.
Is that in the works
already? I think you heard
already?
Dr. Hill yesterday.
Is that in the works?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
Well, we know Adam Schiff in the House Intelligence Committee said that he wants to have John Bolton as a witness, but it would have to take a while potentially, and he's not willing to wait. So I'm just wondering if the House Judiciary has already gotten the ball rolling on that.
Well, I believe it's John Bolton who actually, while he has a book deal, he also is in court to try to find out whether or not he should come forward. He has been separated from this administration. I believe it's his public duty, as Dr. Hill said yesterday, his public duty. You know, our founders, and in the Federalist Papers, Hamilton wrote in Federalist 84 that there are good people close to or at the center of government who will sound the alarm for the rest of us citizens. We've heard that over the course of these last 2 weeks. Good people sounding the alarm. I hope National Security Advisor, former National Security Advisor Bolton, is among them. He has a lot of information to tell us, and all we need is the truth.
So I'll end on this, Congresswoman. You're the third Democrat in the House that I've spoken to today, and all three of you will not commit to whether or not, if there was a vote taken up to impeach the president today, whether or not you would be a yes. And I'm just wondering why that is.
Because you have not told me the substance of the vote. I'd have to know the article of impeachment that I'm voting on.
The purpose of the public hearings this week was to hear evidence of impeachable offenses. So it was just whether or not you came to a conclusion on whether you heard anything in those public proceedings.
But do you see the gap of what's missing? Do you understand what's missing? What's missing is what are the actual articles of impeachment. And so we will thoughtfully craft those. Can I add one more thing, if you don't mind? Because I think the American public, this might be lost on them. At the same time, while all of this important investigation is going on, the House has been very busy passing legislation. This week alone, we passed the continuing resolution to keep this government open in the face of the Senate not moving the budget forward. But what that continuing resolution did was it got a pay raise of 3.1% to our veterans. It fully funded the census. So we have to do both. We have to continue to do substantive work, and we have to continue the process of impeachment. So don't be alarmed if someone won't say, yes, I'll vote for impeachment now. Know that that means that person is thoughtful.
All right, Congressman, we really appreciate your time. We appreciate your time tonight. We will certainly be following up with you.
Thanks for having me on.
And we will see more from the Judiciary Committee in the days and weeks to come. Thank you.